Drawing with pen is not so hard, okay? Let me teach you. The first thing you have to do is to outline your drawing to guide your pen as you shade. You can trace or use a grid method, but you have to get your outline correctly before you can go into shading. If you notice, I draw straight lines at first in order to cover larger areas of the piece. You're using pen, so you want to save time. So I draw straight lines. Take a look at it. After drawing straight lines in one direction, what I do is I then alternate it in a different direction, in an opposite direction to be precise. Now, mind you, alternating it is not the end of the mixture. You're trying to make the eye see a smooth blend just like this. You can see the way it's beginning to blend in. So you go opposite direction, then you add in scribbles to achieve this blended feel. Do you now understand what I'm talking about? So you see how I initially started. Now look how blended it is. So I'll blend in the darker part into the brighter part and create a perfect or eye managing blend. Something like a gradient is what I'm trying to create right now. Okay, I'm done with the cap and this is what it looks like. I've not done the final touches, but this is what the blending looks like. Yeah, I've started adding the falls on the face. As you can see, the eyes, I took my time to make it darker. Extremely dark so that it stands out. And I'm careful of the direction of the fall. Finally done with the head. Trying to differentiate the head from the neck and from the main body. So just creating little shades down the neck for the difference. There is something about making thicker shades before diluting it out into the lighter shade. And that's what I majorly use for my lines first. I make them thick for the shadow cast, as you can see here, before I lighten them up into the brighter shades. Right now I'm in the clothes and I'm almost done. I have come so far. Okay, and I wanted to use this opportunity to let you know that this particular area of the fall, you can see my shading is in the direction of the hair. So it's important you follow the direction of the hair. If not, you scatter the whole hair texture. That's like the major point for this particular round. I'm still working on the hair, I'm not done. Like you can see this side, I have not really shaded it out. Yeah, so if you notice, following all those protocols and technique, I've gotten to this level. If you notice, this is where I am right now. I'm shading this pocket here. So I'm taking note of my gradients, okay? You must understand this mid-tone, dark tone, lights, all those shading stuff. If you don't understand, drop a comment, I'll create a video to just explain that. So that's the rule I'm using to shade all this part. So as you can see, I'm almost done. And the artwork is coming out just fine. Okay, so I want to show you what I did here, just so you can understand the blending from what I'm talking about. So over here, this is what I'm shading, right? It looks all black, but I don't go too dark already. I just start something lighter. And as you can see, I'm using the paper to support my hand so that I don't stain the artwork or put an oil on it. So first of all, I just draw straight lines downwards and I try to make sure the lines align. So I'm bringing it down and aligning it. The alignment look neat I'm very careful not to make it look rough. It looks almost blended, boys. But since I'm going in one direction, it has that one direction kind of look. Okay? So after going down, then I now go in circle motions. So I'm just doing circular motions to make it. A pattern should not show, it should look like a random pattern. If I was moving only from top to bottom, it will now look like, what I mean by top to bottom, it will now look like one direction stuff and it will not bring out the hyperrealism. So what I'm trying to do right now is blend it in. Okay, just wanted to use this very clip to help you understand how I blend. And don't be scared of making something too thick or too light. If you go dark, it's not a bad thing. You can always correct yourself. That's the fun part of the art. So you might think because you're using a pen, if you make mistake, you can't correct your mistake. That's not totally true. If you make mistake, you can always maneuver it, and nobody will know that there's even a mistake there. It all depends on how you correct your mistake. So as you can see, I'm bringing in a dark tone from this edge. Very dark tone from this edge. I'll take it to the other edge. But I have to start very dark first. From one edge, very dark, and I'll lighten it up to the other end. So I'm bringing in that thickness, that black. As you can see, I'm still playing with my 1-1 stroke and circular stroke. So if I want to fully blend, I go 1-1 stroke. If I want to thoroughly blend, I go circular to give it that realistic feel. So it does not look fake. So if you check this bottom is actually thick. Have you seen I went in there thick without being scared of making it thick? I'm now going to blend it out. And this other side too is thick. Okay. Blend it out. So no line should actually stand on its own. For every line you draw, make sure you blend it out. Always blend them out. So I'm going to go thicker now. So I'm adding more blacks to it. I'm using circular motion, blending it in with straight lines. Oh, circular. This is straight line. I'm using straight line right now. Straight line seems to be favoring this particular one. Okay. Then I go circular again for thorough blending. You have to know when to skip a shade. So let's say I shaded one side and the black there is getting too much. You don't necessarily need to reshade it when you're trying to reach others. Just isolate it. Sometimes I use dots to fill in that excess space the paper have created. When you're shading on the paper makes your pen skip some places. So you have to be careful to fill in those places the paper has made you skip. So I'm adding more black again. Adding a more tone of black to bring out. Actually, if you want to get volume, you must understand that you need to add more black, more darker shade to your shading or to your image. By the time you add darker shades, it pops, it gives volume to the object. Like I said, don't overthink about how you blend it in. Can you really see what I'm doing right now? I want you to see it very well. See the way I'm blending it. So now I'm trying to fill up that black with everything. Trying to add in more of the rich black tone. And I'm careful not to concentrate one side more than the other. So not it ruins the whole thing. And I have a tissue here to remove excess ink from my pen. Very important. If you don't remove excess ink, that's what causes the ink to be concentrated in where you don't want it to be. So as the paper texture is making your pen skip, that that excess ink on the mouth will now drop in those holes and make it look like you don't really know what you're doing. So you have to be careful and mindful of that. So I think we are done. And that's what it should look like. Blended. You get. Let me blend this upper part. Perfect. And I've blended it. I've noticed I left an extra light here. I did it on purpose. I actually did it on purpose. So I give you this reflection kind of 3D. You look at it very well, it looks like a 3D object now.